Alright, now one that we've all tried before, and I think we all unanimously like, so we're ready for this, is Johnny Drum.
Have we never made a video on this before?
Nope.
No, we have not. That's why I brought it.
Interesting.
Again, a little bit... So, I still get some fruit, but it's dark berries, and I get more of the brown sugar.
I would say I get brown sugar, a little bit of berry, like you said, a little bit of vanilla, and then like an oak astringency. So there's like an oak smell, but this isn't oak. This is the dryness part of the oak without the oak.
Right.
It's hard to describe.
Almost like, I don't want to say it smells like what oak tannins would smell like versus taste like, but that might be the best way to describe it.
Which is very
different. Oak tannins had a specific smell compared to oak.
Yeah. Which is interesting because the first several times I drank this, I got like buttercream and like vanilla cream on the nose, and I don't get that anymore.
I don't really get it either.
I used to get that, and I don't get it anymore the further I've gone through this bottle, and it's kind of depressed me a little bit because that was what drew me so much to Johnny Drum, and it's not there. But it's not bad.
No, not at all. Like this is still incredibly pleasant, and I'm glad I have a bottle of it now.
Yeah, no, it's a really solid Kentucky blended bourbon, and again, there's like.
Did you sample this?
Hmm?
Did you give me a sample of this?
Yeah. Now I have a full bottle because I had an extra wood for double oak, and he was like, "I'll trade," and I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, no, I mean like.
I know you'll drink the double oak more than you drink this at this point.
I definitely would.
And I would drink either, so I'm like, I'd rather have more choices.
That's
versus
fair.
a bunch of backups of the same thing. That's
right.
more how I function.
I like having backups.
I only get backups if I know I'll never be able to get it again.
I have been buying backups from Knob Creek 12 just because we had a drought of it for like 6 months, and I don't regret it because even if the world was to end tomorrow, I have like 6 Knob Creek 12s that I can spread out over the course of the rest of my life until I die from radiation poisoning.
Right.
Nuclear fallout is a thing. It's probably gonna happen. I'm being pessimistic. Back to the whiskey.
Back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Anyways, the nose is great. It's different, but it's good.
It's the only Willett product I've tried that I've truly liked.
I have to agree with
that.
that.
The rye was okay. I was actually alright with it. The pot still.
Pot still is atrocious.
I wouldn't say it was atrocious.
I think it's atrocious.
I see why people hate it, and I see why people think it's atrocious. I was impartial, where I would never, ever, ever buy it, even for the bottle. But it was palatable. It wasn't like it wasn't a drain pour to me.
Fair enough.
I could sip it, but
you don't
I'd be reluctant to. I would sip it if I had nothing else to sip.
Right.
And I wouldn't necessarily complain if that's all I had. But
yeah. The only things that you can really compare this to are Noah's Mill and Rowan's Creek.
Right.
And both of those they're mediocre at best. Like,
yeah.
Rowan's Creek is about the same proof, but not as good as Johnny Drum. And then Noah's Mill is like 115 proof. But it's probably it's not bad, but it's probably my least favorite, like, 110 to 120 proof whiskey I've ever had.
Right.
It's not bad.
Knowing Rare Breed is in there, too.
I'd have to have them side by side. Because I remember not being... It's a toss-up at the moment because I don't remember enough of what either one of them was like to be able to compare it. I'd have to compare them side by side.
Right. But...
It's sweet. You get brown sugar from the beginning to the finish.
Mm-hmm.
It's astringent. Like, it has, like, some of that oak. Like... It's astringent in that...
It almost reminds me of it having some slight rye characteristics.
A little bit, yeah.
As it progresses toward the finish. Like,
yeah.
Again, I know I always go back to the dill because that's a taste that I pick up very easily. I pick up a tiny bit of it.
I actually don't disagree on that. I do think that I get, like, a little bit of, like... Actually, no. I'm not going to say dill. I think I get malt vinegar.
I can see that.
I think I get malt vinegar.
It reminds me more of... It's almost like an in-between for me, where I couldn't place them as either. I get more dill, but I can get the malt vinegar too if I'm thinking about that when I drink it, if that makes sense. Where, like, depending on how I'm perceiving it, I can see it as being either.
Yeah. Because this is a very sharp whiskey. Like, it has spice. And like I said, it has a very, very slight tinge of that vinegar where it's not good or bad. It just adds character to it that differentiates it.
Right.
You get the vanilla and the brown sugar throughout, and then I get a really nice lingering vanilla from this.
I do too.
Like it lingers and stays around.
It's more of a vanilla bean more than it is like a super sweet vanilla.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not like vanilla ice cream. It's literally like straight up vanilla.
Yes, it's like
almost extract type vanilla.
I would agree
Maybe
with
not
that.
Far, but
I would actually agree with that. This is it's a solid bourbon for sure, and the fact that you can get this for $35, like at a minimum. Most places you're gonna get it for 44, 45, but there's still places you can get it for 35.
And even at the 40 something, it's not like this is a bad buy at that price either.
Yeah, this is something that you buy once and find out if you like it.
And if you like it, you can decide what you can justify paying for it.
Right.
I would justify probably anything under 45 to replace it, personally.
35? My only issue is that this is comparable to Knob Creek, and I edge out, like, Knob Creek edges this out pretty significantly.
Right.
Because Knob Creek, I get
at that point, we also gotta add the disclaimer that at that point we're almost getting to personal taste more than we're getting to quality.
Right.
So.
But quality-wise, yeah, no, this is a solid choice. And if you see it below $45, definitely grab it, try it, and you're gonna find out if you like it or not.
Right, because odds are,
if you're
into whiskey, you're not gonna dislike it to the point where you can't finish the bottle. At the worst, you will be like, it's okay.
There's a lot here to like.
Right. 100%.
There's a lot of spice. There's a lot of vanilla.
It's pretty complex in the fact that you do get a little bit of everything out of it. Because again, you get a little bit of rye spice, you get the bourbony sweetness, you get some fruit on the nose.
It is very complex. I will give it that. Like, it's a tight complexity, but it's still complex.
Right. It almost shows off almost like the best of what Willett could be and what their products can be.
I think this is the best Willett product. I think that this is the best product that Willett puts out.
I want a Johnny Drum cast strength.
I would be very interested in that. Like, I would probably buy that in a heartbeat.
Because I'm sure they make cast strength stuff, but unless it's this exact thing as a cast strength, I don't know how interested I'd be.
I would agree with that, because Noah's Mill didn't impress me. Johnny Drum is 15 proof points lower, and this impresses me.
Now just imagine this exact thing at 115, and it would probably blow Noah's Mill out of the water.
It probably would. I think that Johnny Drum, because Willett does a lot of...
I should just add also, this is the best thing we've tasted so far tonight, I think.
100%.
For me.
Not including the Redbreast.
Yeah, I'm excluding that completely. I'm talking bourbons.
Bourbon, yeah.
Or
This is
so far American whiskeys.
So far, this is the best one, and we do have to add on the fact.
Although I know Ryan's partial to the Old Elk.
Yes.
Honestly, I like this better than Old Elk.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. But
well, then the other thing to add on to this too is that this is the highest proof so far at 101 proof. So
that also could be saying a little bit about our preference in proof as well.
I mean, I personally have to say that my taste gravitates between 100 and 110 proof.
That's about where mine is. I don't know.
That being said,
my baseline for the most part is around 100 and up. There are definitely a significant number of exceptions.
Oh, for sure.
But, like, I love Bowman, and that's 90.
Yeah. I mean, Buffalo Trace is a classic.
Mm-hmm.
Eagle Rare is a classic, although Eagle Rare used to be 100 proof.
Right.
I wish it was still 100 proof. Buffalo
Even
Trace...
though I still love it at what it is for $30.
Oh, well, I can't argue at $30 because it's still my favorite Buffalo Trace product that you can find readily available. The only thing that can, well, yeah, ish. The only thing that really competes with it from Buffalo Trace that's like a standard product is Weller 107.
I was gonna say I tend to put the Wellers in a different category just because I tend to not compare the weeded line to their other stuff.
I'm finding myself comparing like brands.
I got you.
To their own products.
I can agree to that too, though. That I would. Yeah, here let's wrap this up and then we can talk about that because we're getting way off on a tangent. But this is, it's the best Willett product I've had for sure.
For sure.
And it's the most pleasant we've had tonight for sure.
It's one of those, and it's priced well to the point that you will not be unhappy buying it once.
Right now,
buying it again is a different story.
Now, like, put Old Elk at this price, and I'd be a lot less hesitant to buy it and try it.
Exactly.
And at that price point, it would be more of a toss-up for which I like more, because I love the nose on that Old Elk. I'm not the biggest fan of the nose on the Johnny Drum, but I love the palate a lot.
I can agree with that.
I like the finish on the Old Elk a little bit more, just because you still get a little bit of that sort of banana. It does kind of linger through. On this, the finish is, again, vanilla. And so it kind of depends on what I'm in the mood for, but at that point, it'd be more of a toss-up.
Right.
So I have to factor in pricing as to what I like more. But that being said, I mean, Johnny Drum is definitely something that I think after trying it, and I mean, now I've not only tried it, I had a bottle, gave it to you, and now traded something else for another bottle because I wanted it back. That does say something about what I think about the flavor profile.
Right. And again, I like this bourbon a lot. Mm-hmm. The only reason why I traded it with you is because I've noticed that it's not what
it lost a little something that you wanted.
It lost what I wanted, and again...
For me, if anything, this gained a little something. I don't remember the almost dill vinegar note that it has.
That's what it gained that it lost for me.
And that's why I think that's why I like it more.
Because when it gained that vinegar, it lost the buttercream nose that I loved. Because it was a buttercream vanilla nose that was just like the sweetest, most vanilla, creamy nose I've ever experienced.
And this is, I wouldn't call this a necessarily sweet bourbon anymore.
No, it's definitely not.
From start to finish, nothing comes off as super sweet. It has sweet notes, but it doesn't come off as sweet like a lot of wheated and other sort of bourbons do. And
the first several pours of this bottle I had, they were definitely sweet. It's definitely more of a standard bourbon with sweet notes, but it's for sure a bourbon now.
Yes. And so, I think that's why, as much as I like sweet stuff, I think that's why I started to like it even more.
Yeah.
It's because if I get notes that aren't sweet, I like it to be that almost dill-like notes.
Right.
And I like it to have more complexity, just being more rounded in general, and have the contrasting sweetness and more rye spice. I think there's slightly higher rye.
Yeah.
It definitely tastes like a slightly higher rye.
Yeah.
But
because I will point blank say I traded my full bottle of this for a bottle of
Woodford Double Oak.
Woodford Double Oak. That's a far sweeter bourbon with more oak.
And that's a trade where like I would have been happy either way, making that trade or not making that trade, because I like both for different reasons.
Right.
And I liked having the backup of the Double Oak because then I could absolutely destroy the bottle you had given me a long time back.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I like having the variety, and there's times where I'm in a mood for something like this, and this fills that pretty well.
And that's what I think this is going to turn into. This is going to be something I come back to occasionally instead of drinking it like as frequently.
Like your open one's going to sit for a little while.
Yeah. And I mean, I know I can get this again. I know it's going to come back around.
Yeah.
I may or may not replace it. It depends on how much room I have on my shelf. Mm-hmm. It's a solid bourbon.
It depends on how much you find yourself wanting that particular.
And I gotta be honest, like, there's other whiskeys that have a similar vanilla note with a better body to them. Like,
I could agree. Yeah.
Woodford Double Oak, I think, has a ton of vanilla on it once you look past the chocolate.
100%.
And that's why I traded for it. Like, I know it's more readily available, at least in PA. Mm-hmm. But
if you like it more,
exactly.
There's no point not.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong in liking something in your favorite bourbon being something you can find every day on the shelf. If anything, that's better for you because you every day find it on the shelf.
Right.
All right, got anything to contribute? Just vibing over there.
We just vibing, man.
We just vibing. Hell yeah, brother.